Welcome to this week's episode of our digital and telecom program, Telecom Weekly. I am Joy Uyo Adejo. Telecom Weekly is powered by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, Africa's largest telecom regulatory body, designed to inform, educate, and enlighten you on the trends, issues, and development driving innovation and creativity in the digital world. At NCC, we connect you to the world. In this edition, Pantani sets up Committee for Cyberspace ICT Infrastructure Protection. Universal Service Provision Funds, USPF, gets new chairman. Also coming up, NCC, National Institute of Security Studies SIC cooperation. Plus, NCC dedicates its consumer toll-free number 622 as the 2023 general elections incidents line. As you can see, we have a loaded and informative episode today. Please stay tuned.
On NCC Telecom Weekly, we bring you innovations, trends, policies and stakeholders, redefining all sectors of our economy today. Here, you'll see the actors, policymakers and creativity that will shape your mind and business for growth in line with today's reality. Join us every Friday, 5 p.m. on NTN Network and on radio, FRCN Network on Fridays, 8 p.m. NCC, Connecting Nigeria.
Welcome back. The program is Telecom Weekly, powered by the NCC. Protection of the nation's cyberspace remains high in the agenda of the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. Towards this end, a high-powered committee has been inaugurated to ensure the protection of the nation's cyberspace and ICT infrastructure from potential attacks.
The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, has inaugurated a committee led by the Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), Professor Adil Luakande, to advise the federal government on appropriate measures to take in protection of the nation's cyberspace and ICT infrastructure from potential attacks, especially during the 2023 general elections. The minister, who is working in line with the directive of Mr. President to put in place a committee that will work to coordinate computer security centers in the information and communication technology industry in collaboration with other relevant institutions towards intercepting potential cyber attacks.
Our main responsibility in this committee is more of an advisory role. Firstly, advisory role when it comes to intercepting potential attacks on our cyberspace. In NCC, we have Computer Security Incidents Response Team. In NIDA, we have Computer Emergency Readiness and Response Team. In Galaxy, we also have National Cybersecurity Shared Center. These three centers must work together to complement each other and ensure they intercept any potential attack on our cyberspace, particularly critical infrastructure during the election, so that we could either take action or provide necessary advice to the relevant institutions of government that are involved, most importantly INEC.
He said, with the increased role of ICT in online activities and its crucial role in the conduct of the 2023 general elections, in line with the Electoral Act as amended, the job of the committee will assist the nation in conducting free, fair and credible elections. Executive Vice Chairman of the NCC, Professor Umar Garba Mbata, and the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, Mr. Kashifo Inowa Abdullahi, are also members of the committee. Chairman of the Advisory Committee, Professor Adil Luakande, expressed gratitude to the Honorable Minister for finding him and others worthy to be saddled with a very important national assignment and assured the Honorable Minister of the readiness of the committee to work hard towards delivering on its mandate and ensuring, in advisory capacity to the federal government and other relevant institutions, the protection of the nation's cyberspace and ICT infrastructure during the elections. Professor Adeolu assured that the committee members will do everything in their capacity to deliver on their terms of reference.
It is my pleasure to express our gratitude to the Honorable Minister for finding us worthy to be part of this all-important committee in the history of our nation. The integrity of this election depends on our sector because everybody places hope on beavers and it is within our domain. So this underscores the importance of this committee. So we have been asked to play a major role in the history of our nation. So we thank the minister for finding us worthy to be part of this committee. And on behalf of all members, I express the promise that we shall do everything in our capacity to ensure that your expectations on this committee are not betrayed.
The CEO of Galaxy Backbone, Professor Muhammad Abubakar, and the Special Assistant to the Honorable Minister on Digital Economy, Professor Aminu Ahmad, are also members of the committee, which is also composed of key directors in some of the agencies under the supervision of the ministry. The main responsibilities in the committee are more in the advisory capacity. When it comes to intercepting potential attacks that may come to our cyberspace, the committee will coordinate the NCC Computer Security Incident Response Team at the NCC, the Computer Emergency Readiness and Response Team at the National Information Technology Development Agency NITDA, and the Galaxy Backbone National Cyberspace Security Center. And I quote, "These three centers must work together, complement each other, and ensure they intercept any potential attacks on our cyberspace, particularly on critical infrastructure during the elections, so that we can either take action or provide necessary advice to the government. To ensure optimum efficiency, the committee is expected to work closely with institutions such as the Office of the National Security Advisor, ONSA, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, mobile network operators, MNOs, amongst others, to collectively safeguard the Nigerians' cyberspace from potential attacks or cases of vandalism during all tiers of the 2023 general elections."
You can always be a part of this program by joining us via our multiple social media platforms. For inquiries on this program, you can send a mail to telecomweekly@ncc.gov.ng, or better still, for further details about the activities of the Commission, visit www.ncc.gov.ng. Our next story is the inauguration of the new board of the NCC's Universal Service Provision Fund, USPF. The board is saddled with the responsibility of providing board policy directions for the management of the Universal Service Provision for better service delivery.
The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, and the Board Chairman, Nigerian Communications Commission NCC, Professor Adeolu Akande, have been appointed as the Chairman and Vice Chairman of the Universal Service Provision Fund, USPF, respectively. This development was made known during the meeting of the Governing Board of the Universal Service Provision Fund, which took place on Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 in Abuja. The Minister, Professor Pantami, who doubles as Chairman of the Board of USPF, presided over the meeting with other institutional members in attendance. Professor Adeolu Akande, after receiving his letter of appointment as Vice Chairman of the USPF Board from the Minister, thanked the Ministry and the federal government for the additional trust and placed in him and others to further serve the nation in that capacity towards the betterment of Nigeria. Other appointees and members of the board from the organized private sector and key players in the telecom ecosystem in Nigeria include Engineer Gbenga Adebayo, the President of the Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, Alton, and the Chairman of Main One Cables, Engineer Mrs. Funke Okpeke, amongst other notable industry players. The Nigerian Communications Act, NCA number 19 of 2003, Part 4, established the Universal Service Provision USP and mandated the board to supervise and provide broad policy directions for the management of the USP Fund. Section 118 of the Act established the USP Secretariat and states that it shall reside in the Nigerian Communications Commission NCC and shall be responsible for the day-to-day administration of universal service provision. Pursuant to this mandate, the USP Fund started operations in August 2006 and has embarked on various projects to realize its objectives.
Welcome back. The program is still Telecom Weekly. The need to protect telecom infrastructure against vandalization has again come to the fore. Details of this and other interesting stories after this short break. Please don't go away.
How to maximize your mobile data to avoid wastage. Disable mobile data when it is not needed. Use data compression in your browsers. Deactivate all cloud storage except where necessary. Reduce streaming quality from websites such as YouTube, Netflix, and Hulu. Turn off automatic updates on your devices. Set up data usage alerts on your devices. Do not interrupt downloads in between sessions. Close all apps when they are not in use. Control the time you spend on social media feeds. And send large files when connected via Wi-Fi only.
Glad to know you're still tuned in to Telecom Weekly. Here is a special announcement.
The Nigerian Communications Commission, the NCC, the regulator of the telecommunications industry in Nigeria, supports, amongst other things, telecommunications-based innovations and research from tertiary institutions in the country that are practical, locally realizable, and have clear potentials of developing the telecommunications industry. Pursuant to this objective, the Commission invites proposals from academics and tertiary institutions to submit research proposals in any of the research topics stated below. It is envisaged that the initiative will help build capacity in the tertiary institutions and promote Nigeria's contribution to pool of technologies in use in the communications industry. To improve the quality of the submissions, the Commission has included the specific topics in each of the focus areas of research that should be addressed in the responses to this request for proposal. 1. Development of sensors for smart city applications such as traffic management systems, smart parking, smart grid, smart homes, smart institutions, and smart network management. 2. Use of telecommunications networks in identity management and location tracking via national identity numbering, NIN, and artificial intelligence. 3. Design and implementation of efficient solar mobile phone battery charger. 4. Research leading to commercial production of high-capacity batteries for telecommunications equipment. 5. Design and implementation of an artificial intelligence-based predictive maintenance solutions for telecommunications infrastructure. 6. Development of cybersecurity solutions to curb cyber attacks. 7. Development of smart intrusion detection and alarm systems to curb theft and vandalism of telecommunications infrastructure. Interested researchers are invited to submit electronic and hard copies of their research proposals on or before the 12th of March 2023 to the NCC headquarters, while electronic copies of proposals should be sent to researchgrant@ncc.gov.ng and duly addressed to the Executive Vice Chairman, CEO of NCC. Attention! Director Research and Development, Nigerian Communications Commission, Plot 423, Agui Ronsi Street, Maitama, Abuja, Nigeria.
Welcome back. This is still Telecom Weekly, where we educate and enlighten you on the trends in the telecom and digital ecosphere. The need to protect telecom infrastructure has continued to remain on the front burner due to the importance of telecom infrastructure to the growth of the digital economy and ultimately the national development. This came to the fore again when members of the Course 16 of the National Institute of Security Studies paid a courtesy visit to the Commission's headquarters in Abuja.
Experts have said that the role of telecoms in the day-to-day lives of Nigerians have grown drastically since it was launched in 2001. Studies have shown that every sector of the economy leverages on some form of telecom service today, making it an important infrastructure. Many countries of the world consider telecom infrastructure as national assets. From China to India, down to the United States, countries impose strict sanctions on individuals who destroy such assets. The Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), Professor Garba Umar Dambata, says Nigeria should do all that is required to protect telecom assets. He made the call through his representative, Dr. Ikechukwu Adinde, the Director of Special Duties, when he received in audience members of the Course 16 of the National Institute of Security Studies at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja.
NCC, in its own sector, has enormous responsibilities also in terms of how it recognizes the importance of security for the sector. We do know that operators in the sector build cell sites to really communicate in any economy. There's a lot of physical infrastructure that has to be on ground. We talk about our fiber network, we talk about our cell site networks, and most of you are aware. So the fact that we're able to communicate using our mobile phones, it's because the infrastructure is on ground. Over the past years, we've also seen a lot of challenges with infrastructure, security of our infrastructure. The telecom companies face the arduous task of actually securing the cell sites where the infrastructure for telecom services are domiciled, from state to state, with a high level of insecurity that the country has experienced. Some of the challenges that we face as regulators border on security. Cell sites are vandalized, fibers are cut, and when these things happen, they affect the quality of service of the networks that transmit these communication signals that we enjoy on our phones.
Dr. Adinde further gave insight to the importance of telecom services and the imperatives of protecting their infrastructure as critical national assets.
Telecom infrastructure should be categorized and classified as critical national infrastructure because of its pivotal role in our economic development and social development. So to that extent, we would like you to put this top on your agenda as you do your studies.
Some members of the delegation posed some questions of concern, considering the benefits of globalization in a digitally connected and interdependent world driven by communication technology.
How does globalization affect digital communication technology? And what is the Commission doing to address these challenges?
What are you doing as a Commission to educate the upcoming Nigerian citizens, especially those that do not have access to this technology? Thank you.
Young people are also trained. We call it digital skills and entrepreneurship training for the young people, for the youths. and it's been going on across the 6 geopolitical zones. This year it would also happen. We do also have an ongoing project which was recently commissioned by the Commission, and that is the broadband connectivity. Our airports, selected airports across the country, are being connected to the internet of high-speed broadband, some markets, SME locations, some higher institutions. So these are the efforts of the Commission to actually entrench ICT and improve ICT penetration and broadband penetration in the country.
The team also sought the support and collaboration of the Commission to enable the National Institute of Security Studies raise the quality of research and studies for the required capacities needed to help Nigeria meet up with the objectives of the institution.
Welcome back. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, dedicates its consumer toll-free number 622 to serve as the 2023 General Incident Hotline in support of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, towards the conduct of hitch-free election in Nigeria.
In view of the importance attached to the upcoming 2023 general elections, the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has dedicated its consumer toll-free number 622 to serve as the 2023 general elections incident hotline to enable voters and members of the public across Nigeria to report any issues that may affect them or others during the elections. This step is to support the National Electoral Commission (INEC) in its patriotic commitment towards the conduct of hitch-free elections in Nigeria. The toll-free number 622 is the second-level complaint center through which consumers of telecommunications services are allowed to make calls directly to the Commission to resolve issues concerning their telecommunications services which the service providers are unable to do. However, in consideration of the critical nature of this election and to alleviate emergent issues that may arise at the voting centers or any parts of Nigeria thereof, the Commission has considered it expedient to dedicate the toll-free number 622 to accommodate all types of complaints on election day. This is with a view to resolving such issues by contacting and conveying such to relevant agencies, authorities or organizations for timely resolution. The 622 Election Incident Monitoring Center will be manned by top management officials of the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC). The hotline will be open to the public from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. during general elections. Members of the public are therefore invited to take advantage of the Election Incident Monitoring Center hotline 622 during the gubernatorial elections coming up on the 11th of March 2023.
This is all we can take on this episode of Telecom Weekly. Before we go, don't forget, you can always be part of this program by joining us via our multiple social media platforms. For inquiries on this program, you can send a mail to telecomweekly@ncc.gov.ng, or better still, for further details about the activities of the Commission, visit www.ncc.gov.ng. Telecom Weekly is powered by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, your partner to a connected Nigeria. Until we come your way again next week, I am Joy Uyo Adejo. Bye for now.